Well, another Monday here, and we are excited to continue in our Select 30 series with some oils that you might already be familiar with. And if not, we hope that they'll become some of your favorites, because they're some of my personal favorites and some of the ones that I reach to all the time. Some of them I like to also think about oils sometimes and as intuitive, the more that you get to know the oils and you get to understand their properties and you've learned about them and you even how they interact with you and your body, the more I feel like you can have an intuitive sense of which oils that you need to grab for what thing. And so that's also a piece of the more that you are using your oils, the more I feel like you have a better sense of what oils you need and when to use them. So even if these are familiar oils to you, I hope that we can maybe give you a sense of new ways to think about them. We're not going to do any slides. We'll just Libby and I are just going to talk because these are oils that we've talked about before, most of them, I think. And two of them are in the premium starter kit. So those of you who joined in that way, you might already know how to use some of these oils. We're just going to dive in and we're going to start with the single oils. First up is peppermint. Peppermint is, it's fascinating to think that it would take 26 cups of peppermint tea, like loose leaf herbal tea, to make one drop, to be equivalent to one drop of tea. So the types of things that you might reach for peppermint tea, you could simply add a drop of peppermint oil to a glass and a hot water. If you want hot tea, it's really soothing to the throat. It's really soothing to support your digestion. And that's one way you can take it. Of course, peppermint is a oil that's generally regarded as safe. It's one in the Vitality line. And so this is one that you can take internally. It's well known in our seasonal discomfort trio that is lavender, lemon, and peppermint. And when you combine those three, it really helps support your body through that heavy pollen season. Peppermint is inherently cooling. Maybe you can just know that instinctively because peppermint oil is probably an oil that you're familiar with, even if you don't have any, people around you would be familiar with how peppermint oil is used because it's often an oil that's used in toothpastes, it's used in mints, it's used in, cough drops and used in gum, all kinds of things. And so it's an oil that inherently, if you've ever put anything pepperminty in your mouth, it has a cooling effect. Well, you can think about that on all the parts of your body. Peppermint is one that we love to use to help kind of cool the body down. And you can think about that in, hey, it's hot outside and I just want some cool relief. This is one I love to put in a bottle with some water and spray and as a mist if you've been hot, or to take on a hike, or if you're going to be outside. This is a great one for that. Kind of make a little air conditioner in a bottle. But it's also good for when you're feeling under the weather and you're feeling hot. Peppermint is great for that in the same sense. Those are just a handful of ways. Libby, what do you think when you think peppermint?
Yeah, I mean, the same things you said, but it's like 110 degrees here in Dallas and we're melting. And we were taking a road trip the other day and all of my kids are just like soaking with sweat. And I just had my peppermint because I use peppermint for any nausea, just car sickness in the car. I have it next to me on my door handle on my driving and I just pass it back for nausea. But I'm just like, well, this is the oil I have. So I put a drop on everybody's neck. And at first they're like, oh, it's cold. But then like when we were sweating, it really actually cooled us. It was like a personal air conditioner. So for that, and then for any indigestion, put it just one drop in ice water and it helps support that. It's such a powerful, strong oil that I like. If you're going to add it to any diffuser recipe, I would just use like one drop because it'll overpower everything. Just be really careful around your eyes. You don't want to be gassed and get teary. This is the one that Christy and I, if we ever do any in-person events and are trying to encourage people to try Young Living. We just put a drop of peppermint in people's hands, and it's just so instantaneous. When you smell it, it just kind of opens up your sinuses and just kind of gives you that really invigorating feel. What else for peppermint?
Along those same lines, in the fragrant influences of peppermint, it is purifying and stimulating to the conscious mind. So this would be a good one to diffuse if you're for that car diffuser that you hopefully are getting at the 300 PV level this month. This would be a really good one. Research indicates that peppermint aroma inhaled during mental tasks may help attention, performance, and focus. It can also be used as an effective appetite suppressant when inhaled. So that's one to consider if you're having some sugar cravings or you're wanting to cut down on portion sizes or things like that. University of Kiel researchers found that peppermint lessened head discomfort in a double-blind placebo-controlled crossover study. So this is a great one when you're just have head or neck discomfort. That's something you could easily put a drop and put it on the back of your neck, or put it on your forehead or along your temples. Some people also like to put their thumb like on the top and push it to the top of their head, and that can really alleviate some of that.
I bake with it all the time. Think about the brownies, cookies. I put it in, we've mentioned this before, but I put it in smoothies, like if they're green smoothies and don't have a really great taste, or they're bitter from all the vegetables or spinach, just putting one drop just kind of masks all the other flavors. And then I also I use it all the time, and I have it in my purse, breath freshener. I do the peppermint and about maybe a teaspoon of the Thieves mouthwash, and then the rest water.
Good. Yeah, that's really great. I was going to show you I'll tell you the blue book, you're releasing emotional patterns. Peppermint is associated with failure, fear of dependence, or restriction. Of all of those, I feel like restriction's one that I'm like, well, what does that mean? So restriction, if you look up restriction on the other end of this, the other side of restriction is mobility. And the idea would be, I'm open to new experiences. So if you find that you're somebody who is maybe new experiences or something that you're not necessarily open to or willing to try, that what you might be experiencing is the emotion of restriction. And so maybe peppermint can help you in that. So there's a few ideas for peppermint. Any other thoughts on peppermint?
Nope, I think that's good.
Okay, moving on to Copaiba, however you want to say it. There actually is a right way to say it. And every time I hear one of the Young Living people say it in like a broadcast or a show, I repeat it back to myself, and then I think I've learned it the wrong way the first time, so I can't ever remember which is the right way to say it.
Let's just say Copaiba, because every time I say Copaiba, I just feel like I'm being like somebody who tries to say like an Italian food really Italian. Yeah, it's like, just calm down. Let's go to Copaiba.
I love Copaiba. It is one I reach for all of the time. And it's hard for me to exactly tell you all of the ways that I reach for it. I reach for it for bug bites. I reach for it for wounds, sometimes just helping clean and disinfect, and that, I don't think I can say that, helping clean and support the body when it's been injured. And that includes bruising or and peppermint's good for these types of things too, bruising and bumps and bruises and things like that, to help support the body's regeneration of it. But the word copal is derived from the Spanish word for incense and can refer to any number of different resinous gums or exudates from trees in Malaysia and South America. And basically only the Brazilian copal or copaiba, what do we say we were going to say?
Copaiba.
It has a grass distinction, which grass is generally regarded as safe in the US and has the most published research on its ability to support calming down.
Good job.
So in Peruvian traditional medicine, 3 or 4 drops of the Copaiba resin are mixed with a spoonful of honey and taken as a natural remedy for a throat that's got a tickle or that's bugging you. It's also employed in Peruvian and Brazilian herbal medicine systems as helpful for the urinary tract, supporting urinary tract wellness, and in stuff with anything that's coming up with a stomach. So this is actually a really good digestive support as well. The resin is highly regarded in Brazilian herbal medicine as well, in supporting proper lung function, and people, again, gargling with it, putting Copaiba to gargle. If maybe you've got a really killer throat discomfort, that might be something that could really help you. Speaking of mouth, Copaiba is one that is always one I'll go to for any mouth stuff. So it's not just a teething baby, which if you were worried, you could kind of paint the jaw, but Copaiba has a really subtle flavor. So even if you just diluted it a little bit, you could easily put it actually in the mouth. And in fact, one of my kids had a loose tooth just recently. So I don't have any toddlers or anything like that, but now I have them all losing their teeth, and he was really complaining, like, oh, it just hurts. I can't stop messing with it, but it really hurts. So I literally put a drop directly on that tooth, and he was like, within a minute, he was like, I don't even feel it anymore. He'd been complaining about it hurting all day, and finally got to the point I kept saying, oh, I can put oil on it. I can put oil on it. And I think that the Copaiba hadn't been put back last time, so we couldn't find it. And then when we found it, he was like, wow, that worked like instantly. So really good for anything mouth in that way. What are your thoughts on Copaiba?
Yeah, I mean, you and I didn't share notes, so basically you and I are completely overlapping.
Exactly the same.
Yeah, but I mean, that just shows you how much
right.
any mouth related thing, it is, unlike Peppermint, Copaiba is the most gentle. I think of
subtle.
Giving it to a newborn, just neat, straight up. And no, I've never put it on any of my kids with open anything or in their mouth, and it's never been complained that it hurts.
Right.
Unlike sometimes lavender or peppermint. Obviously peppermint would definitely sting, but it's just super gentle. And then just anytime something is larger than it should be.
Right. Muscles and joints. This is another really good one. And that's the same with peppermint too. And this is worth noting that peppermint is a driver oil. And so peppermint, whatever oils were put on previous to it, it drives those oils into the bloodstream faster. And this was found in just a research test, like a test with like something they put on somebody's skin, and then they would put peppermint oil on it. And then they were able to identify that in that medicine in the bloodstream faster with those who had peppermint versus the control. And Copaiba is I'm saying it 5 different ways. It is a magnifier. So it magnifies the effects of any of the oils put on before it. So if Copaiba or peppermint are in your routine of what you need for that ailment or that specific purpose, then you want to add those last, and you want to layer them. And as you layer them, add peppermint or Copaiba last. So it's also really, I've heard somebody say that they really have benefits for this, again, when the body is warm or too warm, that this is a really good one to help relieve that. So even just a few drops on the spine, it would be really good for that. The emotion associated with Copaiba is lies or not getting enough. So if you're feeling like I want to look up lies. The opposite of lies is truth, and the way out is wisdom. So if you're feeling like you need more wisdom in your life, or you're believing lies, then maybe Copaiba, it's so subtle, like it, but it does have its own, like, just really earthy and resiny smell to it. So I really like it. It's one I am just always reaching for. So not enough, the opposite, or not getting enough, the opposite of that is content. So if you need contentment in your life, Copaiba might be the oil you should be reaching for. And the This is good. The way out is I am satisfied.
Hmm.
This
We
is
all
like
need that.
our whole culture is anti-Copaiba. And maybe we need more Copaiba of contentment. And so next time you're about to hit the purchase now in your Amazon cart or your Gap.com or like wherever you're buying your stuff from, you're trying to get the summer sales or whatever, and you don't really need it because you can be content with the stuff you have, go run and get you some Copaiba and take some few deep breaths and say, I am content.
That's
and,
awesome.
and empty your cart and walk away.
I'm doing it.
Or maybe before you go on your Target run or like whatever it is your weakness, your Costco run, whatever the thing is that you're just putting stuff in your cart. Maybe you should Copaiba, a lady's best friend. So let's think of it that way. Okay, next up is Panaway. And Panaway, of course, is a blend. It's not a single oil. The other two oils that we just talked about are singles. And it used to be called Pain Away, but that got told to be switched because that wasn't an appropriate, that implied a little too much. So it's now called Panaway. So I want you to think about it in that way as a result. It's really good for any of the discomforts, any of the bumps and bruises or joint discomfort or muscle discomfort or any of those kinds of things. This would be another really good one for headaches. I'm sorry, head discomfort. Any of the discomfort you might be experiencing in your life. You can reach for that. The oils it has in it are wintergreen, helichrysum, clove, and peppermint. So, therein is peppermint, and clove is really good for, that used to be what the dentists would use before we had the stuff we have now that really numbs and deadens the area. Dentists would use clove. So that should give you an indicator also of the ways that you can think about Panaway. What are your thoughts on Panaway, Libby, if you have any? Maybe you don't have any others.
Yeah, I mean, exactly what it sounds like. We use it for foot relief, for doing foot baths all the time with Epsom salts. That's my go-to. That one and rosemary I use for foot relief. Yeah, I mean, it's just such a, when I can't think and somebody is hurting, like that's an easy go-to one. And I don't have to think about what other specific ways that I can heal that or fix it.
It would be this is what, and again, think about the neck, the head, the temples, across the forehead, any of those things. You could use it as a compress. If you wanted, you could put some on and maybe put either a cold compress or a warm compress on top of it. That would be a really good way to kind of amplify the feel of it. If you're helping to alleviate deep tissue discomfort, you might add additional helichrysum to enhance the effect of Panaway. When it is discomfort in the bones, you might want to add more wintergreen or more peppermint to help support that. And all of these, it's not necessarily available at this moment. It's coming back soon. They said Q2, so I'm hoping that that's actually going to happen here. But it really good additional thing to use with Panaway is Ortho Sport or Ortho Ease massage oils. Ortho Ease massage oil is one of my favorite of their massage oils. I love, my husband loves the way it smells. I love the way it smells. It just smells really good and refreshing. And so Panaway would be a really great addition to that. So it is, again, this comes in the starter kit. So many of you are probably familiar with it. You may not be familiar with it in I wouldn't think of this as, it's not intuitive to me to be like, oh, how can I use this in a way that's other than what I just listed to you, topical, all of these things. But Panaway has several. Oh, wow. I need to go do some emotional support with Panaway here in a second, because exhaustion, fear of emotions, and pain. These are the emotions. I'm not saying pain in any other way, but the emotion of pain. So the way out of the emotion of pain is pretty, the opposite of pain as an emotion is vibrant and I am alive. That would be your way out. So that Panaway, fear of emotions, pain, and exhaustion. I'm going to look up for you the exhaustion. The opposite of the other side of exhaustion is energy. And the way out is I nurture myself. Mother yourself with some Panaway if you're feeling exhausted. So that's any other
you can add it. I always see, and I've tried it because I love wintergreen. I always see people add Panaway and stress away to their diffuser to make like a root beer float.
Oh yeah, that is really uncanny. It's super
Yeah.
uncanny because it is true that the I think I saw something on an Instagram reel or something of somebody in Britain or British people being like completely shocked that Americans drink a soda that has like wintergreen in it.
Oh, that's funny.
But wintergreen is the uncanny thing that is in root beer. And you know what else I just saw? This is totally random and not having anything, although we do have an oil for this. Cilantro is one of the aspects of cola. Cilantro
Like
and lime.
Coca-Cola.
Like if you were going to make your own cola.
Oh, weird.
Coca-Cola flavor. Well, I'm sure there's like a brand name trademark infringement there. Cola flavor. Cilantro is one of the pieces that adds like the slight bitterness or like that just so I saw a guy make it. You can Google this and Google that. And actually maybe, that'd be neat. Like a healthy alternative to, maybe we should start playing around with that. You know,
you should play around and try to find a cola diffuser recipe, but I would not want to be getting that wrong every day, getting cilantro.
I know, right? It would definitely be a too thick swirl of cilantro for sure. Yeah. But anyway, it's lime and cilantro. But yes, wintergreen is the thing that you don't realize is in root beer that is actually in root beer. Okay, so next up is but my kids are having fun outside my door, in spite of being asked not to. My next thing is Deep Relief. Now, Deep Relief in the Select 30 kit, again, Select 30, we're going over these oils. This is a series of 30 oils because it comes in a kit. And you can get Deep Relief as an oil, like a 5 milliliter. I have one. I should have brought it in to show you, but maybe you're more familiar with Deep Relief as a roll-on because that's one that's really easily purchased and easy to carry. It's already diluted and it's ready to go, right? It's got the screw on top and easy 10 milliliter thing that you can just have ready on the go. It is a roller. I mean, it is so this is the oil of Deep Relief. It is a blend of many different oils. I'm going to read them to you. Peppermint, lemon, Idaho balsam fir, clove, copaiba, wintergreen, helichrysum, vetiver, and palo santo. So that is a magical blend of oils. Each of those oils all obviously have their own properties, but think about what we just talked about with peppermint and copaiba, and here we are adding those two together into one roller ball. I love to grab this for all the similar things I'll often use Panaway and Deep Relief together. Like I'll grab the two of them together. I like to use Deep Relief for bug bites that won't stop. I love to grab it for that because it's just really easy and the kids know they can just grab that. But any sort of discomforts, bumps and bruises, supporting the body in that regard has been really helpful. What are your thoughts, Libby?
I always use Dragon Time for menstrual cramps. I don't get them really bad, but last month when I had really bad ones, I could not find my Dragon Time anywhere, and this is the only one I could find. And I just put it all over my abdomen and my lower back, and it worked like a charm. So
it does. It really does. I use Panaway too in that. Like sometimes I'll use Dragon Time and Panaway, or I'll use Dragon Time and Deep Relief, and it does. You're right. It works like a dang charm. So you should definitely, if that's something you've ever encountered, get your hands on this. There is no emotional support listed, but whatever, it doesn't matter. You get the idea. It's also a thought could be to carry it easily carry it in your purse or your briefcase or whatever throughout the day for any discomfort that pops up, or even thinking on an airplane for easy breathing while flying high. You know, these are oils that also, it's not just for that discomfort or tension, but it can also, it helps calm stressed nerves. So think about the oils also in the ways that they could support you. Copaiba is in stress away, lime is in stress away, but lemon is here in deep relief. Helichrysum, vetiver and Palo Santo, those are deeply grounding oils. So just think about how that can also give relief to your nerves. And again, this is a great reminder that like, if you've got 1 or 2 or 3 oils in your purse, like go with that, go with that thing that you have, because the oil you have is better than the oil you don't have. And maybe it will help, maybe it won't, but like, it's not going to hurt. And so it's worth a shot. And that's like how sometimes some people come up with these crazy, hey, I was on vacation, all I had was these 5 oils and I just went with it and it worked. Because
my mom using hand sanitizer for all the things.
That's like now it's my kids like go-to thing. Like I'll come in, I'm like, why does it smell like hand sanitizer? And you're like, oh, I went outside and got bit by 5 bugs. And so that's what they do now. My kids just know hand sanitizer, bug bites, because one time we were in the car and that's all I had. So, so just know that you should, give it a chance and see how your body responds to these things. So the fact that this comes as an oil, you could make your own roller balls and proportion it out, maybe have a stronger, maybe do deep relief and add some extra peppermint, or deep relief and add some extra copaiba, or whatever you want to do, or helichrysum. But the deep relief roll-on already comes like pre-diluted. So if you were trying to go add deep relief right now to your cart, you would only be able to do that with a roller. You can't buy this oil individually unless there's a couple ways you can do it through. They have a Mind Over Matter kit, which if any of this is interesting to you, the Mind Over Matter kit has like a headache ring or a tension ring or something. I don't know. It's like a stress release. You kind of roll this gold thing up and it gives you acupressure or something. And it's actually kind of distracting and whatever. So it's fine. Maybe that's the point. It distracts you. But it comes with a cute little case, a peppermint, a 5 milliliter peppermint, a 5 milliliter of deep relief, and a 5 milliliter of M-grain, which M-grain is for head stuff. If you can fill in the blank of what M-grain sounds like, M-grain, that has to do with your head. That's what you should think about. So that's the way that you can get deep relief, as either the rollerball, or you can get the Slicks 30 kit, or the Mind Over Matter kit. That's the only way you really can get deep relief as an oil. So that is what we have for tonight. We will be off next week. I am headed to Florida. And Libby's got her plate full. So we are going to take a vacation day next Monday. And then the week after that, we'll be back to you with just some convention updates.
Yay. I'm excited to see what they release.
Yeah, the new release stuff. They've already been putting out some teasers here and there, but the new release items are coming Thursday. So it'll be the general session Thursday morning that the new release stuff goes live. So if you're not somebody who is a ticket holder for the convention, keep an eye out on Essential Ed or whatever other, or even Young Living's main page, as they maybe will release it there too. And keep your eye there for what the new products are. I'm pretty excited. So thanks for joining us. And I hope that you are having a cooler June than we are here in Dallas, Texas. But if not, now we've got you've got some tools at hand to help cool you off and bring down the temperature in your own personal way. All right. See y'all next time.
Bye. Have a good night.